I got coffee. Well, I hope you do too. Or some tea. Or, I don't know, some other manner of morning beverage, whether it's warm or cold. And stick around and we'll talk about life and martial arts and what's going on with whistlekick and what's going on in my world. And we'll have a good old time. And then I'll leave. 3, 2. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Thursday. It is June 3rd, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. As I was swinging that cup of coffee around in front of you, I was thinking about UFOs, because there was a news article that just popped up on my feed before I went live about UFOs. There's all this talk about UFOs. So here's the question that I hear some smart people asking. Are we about to be told that aliens exist? Are they trying to desensitize us, slowly march us in that direction? I don't know. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? What would that mean? At the very least, they would be more advanced than we are, because we don't have the technology to even make it to Mars yet. We're getting there. We're not there. It'd be fascinating. If aliens exist, I hope they're nice. That's all. Well, I had a nice Wednesday. I hope you also had a good day. What did I do? So I finished my draft of the layout for Martial Journal Print. Sent that over to Justin. He liked it. Knocked out a couple other things. For example, like the survey that you got to fill out to get the second issue. Because yeah, if we're going to keep sending you free issues, well, we're going to need you to confirm you want to keep getting it. Otherwise, we're just going to be throwing money into a hole to make and ship these things out. And you know what? The economics of that, that's what leads to other sorts of magazines that are just chock full of ads, and we're not going that route. So, but we figure, you know what? If we bring you a great magazine, you'll take a couple minutes to fill out a survey. You'll do it. I think you'll do it. Don't you? I think so. What else did I do? Had a call with a client. Did a bunch of email. And then I had a meeting with a friend who's an attorney and talked about stuff with my father's estate. Stacy says, happy to be surveyed. It's a really boring survey. Actually, it's not a boring survey. It's, hey, let's confirm your mailing address for next time. But it's also how we are going to encourage all the contributors and the advertisers to deliver their best work, because we are going to give a bonus that is pretty significant to the ad and the article that is voted best. And ultimately, as we start working photography in there, same thing. Or graphics, where we're going to have a visual category. Because, hey, if you know you can get a bonus that's, 3, 4, 5 times what you're getting paid to write this anyway, you're probably going to make another pass through. You're probably going to do a better edit. Or maybe you encourage, if you're a business and you're advertising with us, you encourage your graphics team to make another adjustment that makes it better. We want to reward the best stuff, and you get to do that. It also helps us understand what you like. Which articles did you enjoy most? So, gives us a little bit of information. It's quick. I think there's a bug in my coffee. Nope, coffee grounds. Silly French press. So I had this meeting with the attorney about my father and laid out all the complications that are going on. I live here. The house is in Maine. He died in Ireland. He's a dual citizen. Blah, 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 blah. And it's far less complicated than I thought it was, so yay. And she's working to connect me with someone that she may know who can handle the work, because she's not licensed to practice law in Maine. So I'm pumped about that. I came out of that feeling so much better than I had. Now, after that, what did I do? I did a whole bunch of errands and shopping. Went to Costco. Went to some outdoor stores, bought a bunch of things for outside, bug spray, just like boring stuff, groceries. But it had to be done. I was up in Burlington. There's more choice in Burlington than tiny Montpelier. So I did it. And then I went to the gym. I wasn't going to go to the gym because I didn't get to the gym until 7 o'clock. And I said, I could just go home. But I didn't. And because of that, I had a late night. I didn't finish dinner until almost 10. Later than I want to, but it's all right. Today's another day. And what is going on today? Well, today is Thursday, so we have an episode. Let's see if it's out. Is it out yet? Let's see. Is your episode right now? Library? Your videos. All right. So, this episode. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this episode. Let me confirm this is the video one. I'm going to hide the other one. This is behind the scenes. This is what you get to do. No, I don't need to see political ads. Can we avoid political ads? All right. Yep. This is the video one. So Andrew and I put together an episode that had a couple original titles. We played with a few things, and where we ended up was calling it Freedom of Martial Arts. And, well, Jeremy, what does that mean? Why would you call something Freedom of Martial Arts? Here's what we did. We had a conversation, because I feel very strongly. I am style agnostic here at Whistlekick. I mean, yeah, I've trained a variety of styles. I understand styles. I'm not saying styles are bad. But what I'm saying is, we as a company are style agnostic. We are not a karate company. We're not a taekwondo company. Actually, there was a comment on a very old video that we had on YouTube, somebody saying, AE is pronounced Tae, not Tai. It's like, yeah, but those letters don't exist in Korean, so your attack is silly. Kung Fu, I don't care. I don't care what you train. It was okay. We talk about it as martial arts because we have more that connects us than divides us. But there are a lot of people out there who spend a lot of time tearing down what other people do. That's not authentic. Your instructor isn't legitimate. Your rank is blah, 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 blah. And people spend so much time tearing others down. And so we did an episode where we talked about the freedoms that martial artists have, as far as I'm concerned, to practice what they want, when, where, how they want, why they want. If you want to do a style that involves no physical contact with other people, and you want to believe that that is going to prepare you for a real life self-defense situation, I don't care. I mean, I do care for your own safety, but I don't care. If it makes you happy, do it. Instead of spending our time, my time, company resources, tearing down others and trying to say, this is what martial arts is, or this is what karate is, or this is how you do this form. We're not going to do that. And in fact, I will go to the mat on this one. I will defend others' right to practice what, where, when, how, why they want. And I think that that's really important. And I think that there is a coming shift in this as a huge number, in my perception, a huge number of the people who get bent out of shape and wrapped around the axle on this subject are getting older. And let's face it, they're going to die. I'm not hopeful that they die. I'm hopeful that they change their mind. But either way, their opinions and the expression of their opinions are going to fade away. I don't know as many people who are younger who get bent out of shape about this. Younger martial artists seem to be a little bit more libertarian on the subject. Cool. Because what happens after that? A whole bunch of collaboration. And I'm excited for that phase. So we did this episode. Check it out. It's available in video. If you subscribe in the podcast, you're only ever going to get the audio. So just keep that in mind. We take the video, we put it on YouTube. At some point, we embed it in the show notes at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. Hopefully you liked the video. We're slowly expanding video. We're slowly growing that. Right now, most of those resources go into what Andrew and I do because it's a known quantity. It's easier. I know Andrew's got good bandwidth. I know Andrew has a good camera. I know he can look at the camera, etc. Right? When we bring a guest on, it's not always the case. Sometimes we have guests where they ignore our request for good audio quality. I can only imagine what would happen if we tried to do video with some of these people. How do I talk about that one without naming them? There was one, this was probably 2 months ago, and this person tried to have an episode. I mean, it's not like a surprise. It's not like we call them up and, hey, let's record right now. This was planned out with plenty of notice. Person had another commitment, a professional commitment that involved them being in a loud area. They didn't ask to reschedule. They didn't even bring it up. I had to bring up the fact that their audio was terrible multiple times before they finally told me what was going on. I was like, we can't do this. Let's reschedule. To my knowledge, they haven't reached back out. We have not rescheduled. They weren't really that interested. If you listen, people will tell you how important things are to them. So there's the episode. What's going on today? Today, client call, client work. I'm going to go shut down a server. Here, this is kind of a fun story. So I've got a client. This is one of my first clients ever back when I started doing IT. I started doing work for this man maybe in 2002. Might be 2003, but it's definitely no later than that. And at some point, my former IT company made him a server. We built him a server. I installed that server. I did all the setup on the server. Over the years, I did a lot of work on that server, maintenance on that server. Now that server went in no later than 2014, because that's when I sold that company to my team. And it is time to retire it. There are some things that it's still involved in the network, and I got to extract it, change some settings. But here we go. This is the end of that part. It's really fascinating for me. I mean, I don't have very many clients that I do IT work for anymore. I'm a little rusty, but it's kind of cool. Kind of a full circle sort of thing. Other than that, I got plenty of work to do because this thing kind of popped up last minute, so I'm not thrilled about that, but it's okay. It's good money. And I feel like there's something going on this evening. I'm gonna check for my own purposes. Maybe it gives me something else to talk about, and then we're gonna get to what you all sent me because we've got stuff today from Frank and from Jen, and I'm excited to read both of their things. Oh, look at all this stuff. No, I do not. I have nothing this evening other than probably doing a little bit of work in the yard. We've got a heat wave coming. Starting Monday. We may see 90 degrees. And that heat does not go away for, 5 days? Actually, I think it starts Sunday. I think Sunday is going to be like 87, which, for some of you in some parts of the country, that may not be really hot. For here, it's kind of hot. So Sunday's going to be like 87, and then it's like 89, 90, 91, and then it's like 89, and somewhere around like Friday, Saturday, it starts to cool off. We might get some rain. I'm going to be out watering plants, working in the yard, wearing a big hat. All right, let's see what you guys gave me to talk about. Remember, if you have stuff you want me to talk about, like tomorrow, for Friday's episode, you can always drop it in the comment section below. After the show closes, you can also email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com, and I will respond. I'll probably acknowledge it, but I'll print it out and put it here. Because sometimes we have people who we have people who listen to these episodes because it is available as a podcast. Oh, and now Stacy gave us stuff while I was talking. Almost. All right. So I'm going to read Jen's first. With your birthday coming up soon, that's right, Tuesday, I thought I'd ask a question about celebrating birthdays in the dojo or training space. You grew up in martial arts. Did they ever celebrate your birthday in class? I always struggle with knowing how much to do. Every student is important and special, and often our students choose to come to class on their birthdays. I've often thought it would be awesome to have a special birthday tradition for our students, but with 70 plus students enrolled currently, we have yet to figure out that special thing that we could realistically make happen for each of them. Any thoughts? Also, happy birthday a bit early. Yeah, Stacy was right. Not quite while the show was going, just before, a few minutes before, 6:25. So Jen, that's a great question. I remember my birthday being acknowledged. I don't remember anything really special beyond that. My Taekwondo instructor will have people sing, pretty standard fare there. I know some schools that will have everybody spar that person, and it's kind of like the martial arts extension of birthday spankings. I'm not a big fan of that idea. I think I think it's intended the right way. I don't think it usually comes across the right way. Here's what I would do. If it was someone's birthday, I would allow them to pick a couple things that were integrated into what was done in class that day. If they love forms, let's make sure they do forms on their birthday. If they love to spar, let's make sure they spar on their birthday. Doesn't mean they dictate the entire class because, like you said, with 70 students or schools that have more students, it is possible that it's somebody's birthday almost every day. So you can't let the students completely dictate the classes. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to help them progress in the way that you want them to. But I think giving them some say over what's going on. Maybe you have 2 or 3 students that are born on the same day, or maybe the next day when there isn't class, right? So you want to find a way to incorporate that. Okay, if there was one thing that we did today, that you would want to do, what would that be? Oh, I want to make sure that for kids, it's usually a game, right? So you can play a game at the end of class, right? There's a lot of ways you can do that. I think that's the best and most appropriate thing to do to celebrate a birthday. Here's another thing that you could do. You could do, and this is something I have encouraged martial arts schools to do for a very long time, to have social events. What if there was a monthly school potluck? Something simple. You invite everyone to get together, they get a chance to hang out, be social, engage with each other as human beings, not just martial artists. And what if you acknowledge all the birthdays of that month? Then, that's where, hey Google, turn off the heat. Sure, turning off hallway. There's no reason to have the heat on. It's cool in here, but it's not that cool, and I've got windows open. I think if you did something like a weekend celebration, all right, let's get everybody who's got a birthday going lined up by age, and maybe everybody has to guess their age, right? Like you could have a lot of fun with that. That's what I would do. If you do a newsletter, you should definitely be mentioning people's birthdays in the newsletter. All right, and Stacy's got 3 here, and Frank's got 4, so I'm going to bounce back and forth. All right, so June is Pride Month, and I'm going to tell you a quick story about my first experience with Pride in a moment. June is Pride Month. Let's look at some quotes from Apple CEO Tim Cook, who was the first Fortune 500 CEO to come out and did so in 2014. I saw this ahead of time and did a quick Google to double check that. And we're getting there. We're getting there. There are plenty of reasons to dislike someone. There are plenty of reasons to not want to spend time with someone. I hope this isn't one for you. All right, so this first quote. Let your joy be in your journey, not in some distant goal. We've talked about that in the context of martial arts. We've talked about that in a lot of different ways. If all that motivates you is the end point, what happens when you reach it? Where's your motivation? You either fall off or you have to set another goal. This is why people quit after earning a first degree black belt. Because we as an industry condition them that the black belt is the goal. Shoot ourselves in the foot on this one. Yep. If you're not enjoying the process, find a way to enjoy the process. If you can't enjoy the process, the goal will be hollow. And I really think you're wasting your time. We've got a finite number of days on Earth. Unless the goal really is going to change your life, like, let's take a black belt, for example. If someone doesn't enjoy training, if they don't love training, and they're only training to earn a black belt, what's the point? Are they really going to benefit? Are they going to really learn those lessons? Are they going to embody the martial spirit? Maybe. And if that's what somebody wants to do, by all means, I'm not going to tell them not to. But I don't see the point. I would rather go to a school I love training at, train in things that I enjoy with people that I like, from an instructor that means something to me. And then the rank is inconsequential. Oh, cool. When I earned rank the last time I earned rank in something was Kempo. And there's either a monstrous bumblebee outside or some bug has gotten in here. So it was very loud. I was training Kempo because I wanted to learn Kempo, because I wanted to train with those people, with that instructor. It was fun. When I received higher rank, cool, I'm honored. It's great. Doesn't change anything for me. Now, I'm sure some of that is a little easier for me because I've trained a long time and I've achieved different ranks from different people, different styles, different schools. Stacy says, if I could keep training and never change ranks, I'd be just fine. Yeah, exactly. And you said something else. Our sign in computer sings when it's your birthday. Our sign in computer sings when it's your birthday, plus or minus 2 days. That's awesome. She works at a hospital. I like it. So here's my quick story about pride. Growing up, I had family in the San Francisco area. And the first time we went out there, I was 9 or 10. It was my mother and I. We were headed down to Fisherman's Wharf. We had gotten off the bus at whatever seemed to be the closest stop, and we're walking. And we stumbled into a pride parade. Now this is the 80s, when pride parades were pretty dramatic, when there was a lot of pushback, unfortunately, in society. And let's just say there was a lot of leather. I was too young to get it. I didn't know what was going on. And it wasn't for a couple years that it took me some time to understand. My mother dragged me through that very quickly. Not because she didn't want me around that. There was a gay couple we knew that we spent plenty of time with. She wasn't homophobic. It was because what was going on was so over the top. The floats, just use your imagination. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was the type of parade that probably would get shut down today because it was so graphic. If it was anywhere else, it probably wouldn't have been allowed. How important is it, this is from Stacy, how important is it to dig beyond the basic history as you progress in rank? It's optional. To me, the history part is optional. I think it is helpful, but it also depends on how your brain works for stuff. For me, the more I understand about a thing, the more dimension it has to me, the more it's going to stick. It's like, here's something most of you will probably get. Think about learning history. Which stuck in your brain better? A list of dates and facts, or stories that incorporated those dates and facts? The more well-rounded the information is, the easier it is to retain and regurgitate. So I would say, for most of us, history is beneficial, it's helpful, it's not critical, and for most of the reasons people train, learning about it would be good. And this is part of why we do martial arts radio, is to capture that history. Because we get people talking about what they do, and we hear bits about what their instructors do or did, and it's nice. It's nice to put that together. I am surprised that it is not more common that when we bring an instructor on the show, that they don't encourage their students to listen. It is generally such a good representation of who they are, and they share bits. I've had people write to me and say, I've been training with this person for 10, 20 years. They told stories that I had never heard before. Yeah. I think that's the history that is probably most important is of your instructor. Not because they are some grandiose special person to be celebrated, but because the more you understand about them and their journey, the more you understand why and how they teach. And Stacy said, having been in pride parades in the late 80s and early 90s, yeah, so over the top. Yeah. Back to Tim Cook quotes. We think coding should be required in every school because it's as important as any kind of second language. I don't agree with that. And this is as someone who majored in computer science. I majored in computer science and philosophy, so I spent 2.5 years learning to program. I understand programming. I taught myself HTML in high school. I get it. It is not as important as a second language. Learning, for most of us, Spanish or French or Mandarin is, I think, has more brain benefit. I can't back that up. But will have better long-term benefit because languages change. Computer languages change. Their implementation changes. Spanish isn't going to change that much. Mandarin's not going to change that much. And there is a tremendous amount of work going on right now behind the scenes to make programming as simple as putting Legos together. And there has been amazing advancement in that. Will the best of the best programming ever be done that way? Probably not. But if your goal is, hey, I've got this idea for an app and I kind of want to knock it together, yeah, you don't have to be a programmer or even a really smart person to do that anymore. Here, come on. Drew. Is there a praying mantis stance? Maybe. There is mantis-style kung fu, so I'm guessing so. My major lack in the world of martial arts, the thing that I've spent the least time training is Chinese martial arts. And I mentioned earlier this week that I am trying to start in a new school. This is part of where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to do some kung fu. So maybe I could answer that better in a little while. I hope people remember me as a good and decent man, and if they do, then that's success. Here's a quote from someone who is in charge of one of the most recognizable corporations in the world. He is an actual billionaire, and this is his hope, that people remember him as good and decent. I think that's all any of us should be striving for. I think we all should be striving for that. And if we want to do more, that's fine. But I think this is the most important thing. I think quite often people will try to make a mark on the world at the expense of being remembered as good and decent. Have you really changed the world if the people that you were around while doing that work didn't want to be around you? They didn't like you. You didn't make their days better, brighter. The older I get, the more I think that that's the point, is to make that kind of incremental impact on someone's life. And I learned that focus is key, not just in your running a company, but in your personal life as well. I completely agree. Focus is critical. You have to have discipline, whether you're training for something, living. A lot of us spend a lot of time doing things we don't really want to do because we're not disciplined to do the things that we want to do that set us up to do more things that we hope to do. And the last thing from Stacy. What traditions or customs do you have related to the martial arts that are not from traditional martial arts? Here's one that I don't know I've ever spoken publicly of. If you've ever trained with me, you may have seen this. No one's ever asked me about this, though. So I will share this, and then I will send you all on your way. Don't forget, if you're new to the show, subscribe, turn on notifications. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, here on YouTube. Catch it later as audio in your podcast feed. Just search for First Cup with Jeremy. You can support us by going to whistlekick using the code FirstCup15 to get something like this mug. Or we've got the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick, with free merch. One of the things on my list today is try to come up with a really cool sweatshirt design. And make sure you check out episode 611, Freedom of Martial Arts, and give us some feedback. Jump in the Facebook group, Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio Behind the Scenes. Okay, so here is my martial arts tradition that is not from traditional martial arts. I kiss my belt before I put it on. Not like I make out with my belt, but this is something that is probably the combination of my Jewish heritage and my martial arts training. In Judaism, there's a lot of kissing of inanimate objects. Mezuzah in the door, right? Kiss those as you go through. I actually have two. When the Torah is walked around the synagogue, you kiss your fingers and touch it. Actually, usually if you're wearing a tallis, prayer shawl, right? Kiss that and touch it. And I'm sure there are other times that you kiss inanimate objects I'm forgetting about. I do kind of the same thing with my belt. I get it folded up the way I need it to put it on, and just do a quick, and then put it on. Why? It's a moment where I'm remembering all the training, all the time that has gone into that belt, all the things that belt has seen. I have had that belt. That has been my only black belt, save for one class where I forgot, maybe two, where I forgot it for 26 years. That has been the belt. So to have a moment and acknowledge the belt and the journey it's been with. If this place was to burn, if my home was to burn, cat would be the first thing I would grab. The belt would be the second. It is, on paper, the least valuable thing in here. It's the only thing I can't replace. So, when I fly for an event, it goes in my carry-on. It does not leave my sight. So there we go. Feel free to ask me personal questions. I don't mind. The worst thing that's going to happen is I'm not going to answer them. Okay? Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm going to go get ready. I'm going to go work on some more of the flexibility program. I'm going to knock it out of the park. Not that whole thing, but just I'm going to crush the day, and I hope you do as well. I hope to see you back here tomorrow for Fun Day Friday. I'm sure Frank's going to throw us some jokes, and everybody can feel free to throw jokes as well. Here, I don't care. Let's make it fun. Everybody can leave jokes as long as they're appropriate to be read. I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody.